Here we are. I'm going to talk about chapter number 5 in this textbook, which is the basic marketing book used both in Buzz 106, Buzz 200, and Buzz and Marketing 213. Talk about demographics, which is very interesting for people at Seneca College, because basically we're talking about people from many different parts of the world. In this chapter, the reason for such detailed information is that the competitiveness of companies' marketing in North America in 2010 depends upon understanding demographics very importantly. So first of all, the chapter begins talking about target marketers focus on the customer, finding unsatisfied customers and offering them more attractive marketing mixes. Basically meaning people who don't like their present product and people who can't find a vendor of a product. That's what they're trying to target. It takes knowledge of potential customers, what they want, and finding those marketing dimensions that make a difference. Income, needs, attributes. So if the price goes up, the number of people who buy won't change a lot. That's what that means in terms of demand curves. Marketers need to understand 3 important questions about any potential market. What are its relevant segmenting dimensions, basically saying who is what? How big is it, meaning how much can we sell? If we know the quantity, then that affects production. And where is it? Geographically, is it urban, is it rural, and in parts of the city in particular boundaries, because then you can know where to place your advertising and your vendors. In this chapter, they're going to focus on the demographic dimensions that provide marketing managers with critical information about size, location, and characteristics of the market. And by knowing this, it can be alert to demographic changing trends, which provide an early warning about new opportunities or need to adjust existing strategies. An example of adjusting existing strategies might be, for example, TD Bank, which all through 2006, 2007, 2008 had pictures of Chinese people in their commercials because they were under the impression that this is a growing demographic they wanted to attract, not aware of the fact that actually the fastest growing demographic in the GTA region is people from India and South Asia. So that if all their commercials were focused on one particular ethnic background, yet in fact it was a different ethnic background who is growing in larger numbers, then they might miss the opportunity to attract those people. One of the things that's a characteristics of all countries around the world, particularly Canada, is that the population is becoming more concentrated. What that means is the urban to rural split is being exacerbated. More people are coming from rural areas moving into urban areas, and within urban areas we have higher concentration. So instead of condominiums being 4 stories, they're 20 stories. Canada is a very huge country. Many people talk about Canada being the 2nd largest country in the world, but actually that's somewhat misleading because most of the population of Canada, 90%, lives within 100 miles of the U.S. border. And 3 big cities, Vancouver, Toronto, and Montreal, are the repository of most of Canadians. The other reason why people travel far distances is because many long distance moves are prompted by the search for a better lifestyle. We see this in Canada all the time. Population of Alberta going up or down depending on the oil boom. People in the Maritimes either moving to the Maritimes or from the Maritimes, and the same thing in Quebec. In Quebec, there was many people moved out of Quebec in the 1980s because of the strengthening language laws. So many people who are of Anglo background moved to Ontario for better job opportunities. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was on page 133, it talks about average family income. In 2003, $73,000. I don't know why this textbook is talking about figures for 2003. I went and found on the internet much more up-to-date figures. So we're looking average family incomes in the range of 75, 79, 80 for 2010, which is a lot more realistic to be able to make decisions about. Why do you need to know this? If you're a car company and you're trying to create financing packages for someone to lease to own or to buy to own, and you want to know what the average family income is for people with 2 children, that's the type of information you need. Or if you're a condominium company and trying to figure out how much to price your 2-bedroom condos for, or if you're a company selling houses up near Newmarket and you're trying to figure out what this should be, $350,000 or $370,000, this type of information is very helpful. Disposable income, discretionary income. Disposable income is what's left over after taxes. Out of this disposable income, together with gifts and pensions, etc., the family makes its expenditures. Discretionary income is the purchase of luxuries. These are things that are left over after disposable income is paid for all the necessities. So the amount of discretionary income that people have is what companies need to know to be able to determine the price of the toys that you have, like the flat screen panel TVs and the vacations and those types of things. The other thing about this is the spending varies over the family life cycle. In the beginning, it's important to understand how many children people have, whether it's just going to be 1, 2, or many immigrant families are having 3 and 4, because in their country there may have been different challenges in having larger families, but when they come to Canada, they find the economy and healthcare system so much better that they're able to have larger families. So this allows companies to be able to plan things, whether their condominiums and apartments should be 2 or 3 bedrooms with their houses, or should be 3 or 4, or the grandparents living with people. You find particular houses in Markham being sold called 2-generational families, where grandparents live in an ensuite, these type of things. The other thing too is in terms of the life cycle, young people and discretionary income. Younger people often earn less than older people, which is true, so they can't buy expensive toys like Porsche, Ferrari, but they spend a greater proportion of their income on discretionary. So this means things like iPods and cell phones and entertainment items and so on. Those are the main points for chapter number 5.